August 12, 1944. The morning sun struggled through the mist that clung to the hedgerows of Normandy. Along a narrow dirt road, a group of British infantry trudged forward, their faces tight with exhaustion, but their spirits stubbornly bright. Somewhere up ahead, the rumble of tanks echoed, but these men, hardened veterans of campaigns from North Africa to Italy, exchanged amused glances and whispered jokes. "They say the Germans have some new super tank," one muttered. "The Tiger. Big, slow, and all bark, no bite." The others nodded, some chuckling. Over the months, British soldiers had seen plenty of enemy armor, Panzer IVs, Panthers, but the Tiger had become a legend, whispered about in mess halls and letters home. Yet those legends felt like exaggeration. The British infantry officers, confident in their seasoned experience, were certain these new tanks were overhyped, more myth than menace. If anything, the Tiger was a lumbering, vulnerable behemoth they believed could be outmaneuvered or blasted by concentrated firepower. At the front, Sherman tanks rumbled. These American-built machines were less intimidating on paper, a Ronson nickname for how easily they caught fire, but British crews knew their strengths. Still, the idea of facing the Tiger struck a chord of unease that few dared voice aloud. Suddenly, a distant explosion shattered the morning quiet. A British patrol ahead radioed urgent news. A Tiger tank had been spotted near the village of Fontenay-le-Penel. Commanders chewed over the report with skepticism. Could one Tiger really pose a threat strong enough to disrupt the Allied advance? Major General Percy Hobart, known for his visionary approach to armored warfare, was already preparing something extraordinary. He believed that the key to overcoming the Tiger lay not in brute force, but in clever coordination, marrying tanks, infantry, and air power into a lethal symphony. As the morning heat climbed, the stage was set. The lurking shadow of the Tiger was about to meet the hard, unyielding will of British ingenuity. For some soldiers, disbelief still lingered until the Tigers burned on the battlefield. The roar of the Tiger's engine cut through the Normandy countryside by mid-afternoon, the ground trembling beneath its massive treads. From a distance, the tank appeared like a towering fortress, its thick, sloped armor shimmering dully under the sun. British infantrymen, once mocking, now froze on the spot, eyes widening with a mixture of awe and growing dread. Lieutenant James Porter, commanding a Sherman tank troop, squinted through his sights as the colossal shape advanced. The Tiger was unlike any armored vehicle they had faced before, a rolling fortress armed with an 88mm gun that could punch clean through Shermans at over a kilometer. The first shots rang out. The Tiger's gun barked fire, shells exploding among the hedgerows and fields. British Shermans maneuvered desperately, firing their 75mm guns, but their shells bounced harmlessly off the Tiger's nearly invincible armor. All around, the landscape became a chaos of smoke, fire, and shattered trees. Infantry scrambled for cover as Tiger machine gunners swept their weapons in deadly arcs. The once confident murmurs of "overhyped" now died away, replaced by tense silence. But this was no ordinary tank battle. Overhead, the drone of Allied fighters grew louder, cutting through the sky with purpose. Hawker Typhoons and P-47 Thunderbolts dove toward the battlefield, their rockets and .50 caliber guns spewing death upon German positions. Major General Percy Hobart's plan was unfolding. From the British command post, Hobart's voice crackled over the radio. "Coordinated attack. Shermans engage at angles. Infantry provide support. Airstrike inbound on my mark." The plan was clear. The Tiger's strength was its armor, but that meant its maneuverability and visibility were limited. The key was to force it into a kill zone. Sherman tanks angled left and right, trying to flank the Tiger, while infantrymen threw grenades and used PAT anti-tank weapons to hit vulnerable spots. Above, the first wave of fighters streaked down, their rockets arcing toward the Tiger and its support vehicles. In those critical moments, disbelief slowly twisted into something else, a harsh realization that the unstoppable beast could be undone, but only if the enemy fought smarter, not harder.
As twilight thickened over Normandy, The battle intensified around the battered village. The Tiger tank, imposing yet increasingly isolated, pressed forward with relentless determination. But British forces refused to yield, their coordinated assault tightening like a noose. Lieutenant James Porter and his Sherman crew ducked behind a shattered wall, nerves fraying but resolve steel hard. He radioed the command post with grim urgency. "The Tiger is making a move to break through our flank. Infantry to the hedgerows, air support inbound." British infantrymen disappeared into the dense, twisted hedgerows that sliced the Normandy landscape. These were no ordinary bushes, but labyrinths of earth and tangled roots, turning the land into natural fortresses. It was here that Major General Percy Hobart's innovative Hobart's Funnies, specialized armored vehicles designed to tackle obstacles, came into their own, aiding infantry in closing the distance. Suddenly, the Tiger lunged forward, its massive gun firing a thunderous shot that sent a Sherman blazing. The fiery explosion shattered the illusion of invincibility that surrounded the tank, but the British were ready. Sherman crews, using careful positioning and rapid-fire tactics, began targeting the Tiger's rear and sides, the only places where its thick armor waned. Moments later, with perfect timing, a squadron of Typhoons roared overhead. The pilots, eyes locked on their targets, unleashed rocket barrages that struck the Tiger's fuel storage. Flames erupted, licking hungrily up the armored giant's hull. The roar of the tank's engine faded into an agonized groan. The battlefield fell into a stunned hush as soldiers on both sides watched the once mocked Tiger burn fiercely, a symbol of fear transformed into vulnerability. But the battle was far from over. Behind the Tiger's fiery wreck, more German forces gathered, watching and waiting to see if the British innovation could hold. The crucible of Normandy was just beginning to reveal who truly held the edge in this armored war. The dawn broke gray and heavy over the battered fields of Normandy. The burned-out Tiger was still smoldering, a stark testament to the shifting tide of war. British soldiers, once filled with disbelief and even scorn, now understood the true might and menace of their former adversary. But more importantly, they grasped the new reality. The combination of strategy, innovation, and sheer will could topple even the most fearsome foe. In the command tents, Major General Percy Hobart reviewed the reports. His gamble on integrated warfare had paid off, but he knew this was no isolated victory. The Allies faced many Tigers yet, armored demons that would only grow more desperate as the war dragged on. Yet the lesson was clear. The arrogance that had shielded these mechanical monsters was cracking. British forces began adapting, deploying more specialized units trained to hunt Tigers, coordinating artillery barrages with pinpoint precision, and calling in airstrikes the moment these tanks revealed themselves. Lieutenant James Porter's unit was back on the move. His voice over the radio was steady but resolute. "The Tiger is no longer the unstoppable nightmare in our nightmares. It's a challenge we've met head-on and beaten. Normandy is our proving ground." As the Allied advance continued, the legend of the Tiger transformed, from a symbol of dread and mockery to a reminder of how perseverance, teamwork, and innovation could overcome even the greatest odds. The once mocked beast burned not just on the battlefield, but into the pages of history, marking the turning point in a war where no force was invincible. The question lingered in the smoky air. When the next Tiger rolled across the horizon, would the Allies be ready? Or would old fears rise anew?